Okay, so we are on, I believe we're on lesson number 232 of a workbook of A Course in Miracles. Be in my mind, my Father, through the day. The first, I wanted to go back for a second and just take a look at a short section from the contemplation that you read, or the understanding that you're given to contemplate along with this lesson for the day. And then toward this second part, it says, "Let us come daily to this holy place." Remember, we're talking about salvation, and spend a while together. Here we share our final dream. So, how happy are you to hear that this can be your final dream? Ultimately, now, if we were in the Old Testament, and we lived in Sodom and Gomorrah, and the Lord just spoke to Lot and said, "Take up all your people, find your people, and leave, because it's come to an end. It cannot continue the way it is. So something's about to happen, but it need not happen to you." And this is what this is saying. And this is, so you're being offered the ability to walk out of the dream, or have the dream depart you, is actually more in line with what we've been reading, and with how we're given to learn that this works. We don't depart the dream. We heal our mind of the necessity of dreaming by releasing ourselves from the effects of the split, as we no longer listen to the cries of the ego, and just attend to the voice of the Spirit of God within us, and follow the guidance that we're given. And this is part of the guidance that we're being given. "Let us come daily to this holy place and spend a while together. Here we share our final dream." How happy are you to hear this is your final dream? Are you going to be like Lot's wife and have regrets? Because it's merely our regrets at thinking there's something left within the dream undone, or something more to the point, something within the dream of specialness, by which you think, or from which you think, or with which you think you are going to derive a satisfaction that you haven't derived before. It's finally going to give you everything you've been looking for. Now, obviously, you haven't had if that's true for you, then you haven't had the experience of recognizing this is a dream of nothingness. And the contact that we make in this holy place daily with our Father offers us communication and the restoration to the certainty that everything we want, not broken down in bits and pieces, but as a totality of a gift to us. Reality is a totality of a gift to us that was given to us, in which we were blessed in God's initial thought for us when we rose up in the eternal nature of creation as an infinite being in His image and likeness. It is a dream in which there is no sorrow, for it holds a hint of all the glory given us by God. The grass is pushing through the soil. The trees are budding now. The birds have come to live within their branches. Earth is being born again in new perception. It's a new heaven. We've discovered a new reality, and a renewing reality in our mind that was always been there, beyond where we were allowed ourselves to go before, because we were so busy being fearful of our own reality, of our Father, of love, that we never gave ourselves the time to sink in and see what it is we were really fearful of, to find out there was nothing to fear whatsoever. So now that we're healing our mind, and remember, as we heal our mind, we're removing all that's left of the fractured reflections and thoughts and emotions of separation, and we're replacing it with the entirety of our wholeness. And now now Earth is being born again in new perception. Night is gone, and we have come together in this light. Now you can't come together in this light if there's still things in the dream that you would like to pursue. That means you still have time. You still require cycles of space and time. You'll always come back to this, no matter how many cycles you go through. This is why this gets to be required. Of course, this is the spot you'll ultimately get to. And this is the spot you can be in now. From here we give salvation to the world, for it is here salvation was received. The song of our rejoicing is the call to all the world that freedom is returned. That time is almost over, and God's Son has but an instant more to wait until his Father is remembered. Dreams are done. Eternity has shined away the world, and only heaven now exists at all. Now remember, he's saying this to you within the illusion of space and time, wherein which you're visualizing all this happening. Okay? Don't worry that you're still you're visualizing it happening. Just go back to the inner vision that you'll be giving of reality. And you'll see that when you join with that, this world is pale and being shined away in your mind by the brightness and the love that you experience in your connection with reality that you make when you come to this place daily and spend some time with your Father in right-minded understanding of what it is that's occurring. So be in my mind, my Father. Where else would he be? Because you're in his. And you're exactly as he is. He created you and holds you in his mind. And you are mind in mind. So as his creation, you are created exactly like him. You share the same mind. So in his mind, we all share his love. And we are in his mind as he is in our mind. And now we can become aware of it because there's no fear left. There's nothing left to be afraid of. We're losing our fear of each other. It's not that you're no longer fearful, but it's that you are recognizing in your right mind the reasons and the source for fear, and you're not projecting outside of your brother and blaming it and associating your fear with anyone being guilty, including yourself. You're allowing these fearful moments to be turned over for the healing, and the fearful moment, when it's healed, is replaced by innocence, guiltlessness, when you're joined with the Christ. And let me not forget my hourly thanksgiving that you have remained with me. After a while, you're not going to forget. You're asking God to remind you, okay? In this paragraph, you're asking God to remind you to not forget. So remember, you're going to get hourly reminders from God when you forget. Don't think that something else is occurring when you experience, however that is, in the nature of your own relationship with reality, the hourly reminder in case you forget. You have remained with me, and always will be there to hear my call to you and answer me. Always. Okay. Now you can live in that certainty. And in that certainty, it's okay, in a sense, I don't know how to say this. When you live in the certainty that this is true, it's not that you forget hourly reminders or remembrances. It's that they're there because your mind is open to the recognition and the communication that's brought to you by the Holy Spirit. You've become open-minded in your association with the universe, so that anything that requires contact with you for any reason whatsoever is capable of contacting you, and you're no longer going to respond or react with fear. You're going to recognize that if there's a fearful reaction, it's within your own heart and mind, and here's a moment of contact being offered to you to help you remember. As evening comes, let all my thoughts be still of you, still of you and of your love, and let me sleep sure of my safety, certain of your care, and happily aware that I am your son. This is as every day should be. Now, the human mind, one that has not had the experience, is going to look at that and think about how boring it is and the necessity to discipline themselves in order to do this. And that would be, let's call it this, symptoms of the fact that the ego is attempting to utilize the course against you for its purpose. But when you've had the experience, and the experience is a constant renewing, and it's consistently available to you, and you've learned to trust it, and it trusts you because it's giving you assignments within the salvation of the world of space and time, it becomes a joy to operate in communication with reality when you begin to tune in and let it tune into you, and you become trustworthy to yourself, innocent and guiltless enough within your own association with yourself that you're no longer afraid of reality and your Father. And you're right-minded enough in your perceptions that you recognize when you are not. You're responsible for your thinking, and it's not associated with guilt and blame, but it's associated with the responsibility and the ability to have your mind change by turning it back to the Holy Spirit where you want it to be anyway. This is as every day should be. Today, practice the end of fear. That's what we've been talking about. Have faith in him who is your Father. Trust all things to him. All things. And allow them to be made manifest through you in space and time as they could be and should be for the benefit of all man and mankind. That's something you don't know how to do alone, because alone, that's what the problem is. That's what separation is. Let him reveal all things to you, and be you undismayed because you are his son. Is that good news? Is it good news that we've joined together for the final dream? And the final dream will be brought to us by the joy and the unity that we experience in our own Christ mind. And don't worry about the term Christ mind. Don't try to make it into something it's not. It's where our minds are already whole and perfect and joined with each other. You cannot not be there. It's only your perceptions of yourself that keep you from allowing your mind to sink into your heart and experience the joy of being there. And that's just from guilt and fear. And guilt and fear are just poor perspectives. They're not anything real to worry about.